are you doing?
That was beautiful. It was like songs of praise. I'm bloody lovely. How are you?
Good. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Excited about recording an episode with you today. And so
Yes,
I've got
me
us a
too.
good topic.
Mm-hmm.
I've got us a good topic that I've been thinking about that I think is coming up a lot. It comes up a lot in stuff I'm talking about, and I bet you see this a lot. And it's
Mm-hmm.
how much should people care about the competitors in their business?
Absolutely
I
brilliant
just
question.
think, you know, I see people, how it shows up for me is, you know, clients of mine, and I see it in groups and stuff like that, but people are a bit like, such a body down the road. What are they charging? Should I be worried about this? And I thought it'd be a really good conversation to us to have, which is how much should people be caring about the competition? How much
Yeah.
should they be paying attention? And so I see this showing up when people are getting fed up and burnt out and resentful. I sometimes can see that they feel a little bit maybe worn down by paying attention to what the competition's doing. It's like they can start using what someone else is doing to sort of bang themselves over the head and give them
Yeah.
reasons as to why they're not any good or why they should quit or stuff like that. So that's how I see it show up quite a lot. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, and actually similar to what we talked about last week of like it can be a bit of a means of procrastination or distraction to be like, oh, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna look at what all the other people are doing, which I just think is like so torturous, really.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
see, yeah, the ones that I kind of see in the big group things like, especially because I do work on pricing, there's the whole, oh my God, the salon's open down the road and they're charging rock bottom prices,
Yeah.
or someone's opened a salon and they're like better than me, as in like they've spent a load of money on the refit, like it's more
Mm.
modern, they've got a little cafe, like and it's basically them being like, I feel nervous because mine's not up to scratch, or people are gonna just look at this fancy pants new one and go, all right, I'm gonna I'm gonna
Yeah.
go.
Or my client's just
And
going to run down the road to the new
because this person has a nice
barista
coffee.
section. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I love a coffee, but I'm not leaving any of my hair or beauty people
No, me
for one of
neither.
those. And I think as well, it's sometimes not even like a stranger, like someone just opening up. Sometimes it's when your staff leave, and that then
Yeah.
these people who were your colleagues and your employees, your peers, become the new competitor.
Yeah, I think that's true. And I think about it in stuff like, do you know, like maybe you've worked with someone for years and then they leave and you start paying attention to what they're doing now they've left and thinking they're
Yeah.
doing better, they're doing things. I wish I was doing that, or I'm nervous to do that, all that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
they've got more followers. They got asked to be a brand ambassador. They went to a trade show, that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. Especially when it's like a
Yeah.
previous mate, like an equal, who's now seeming to do quote
Yeah.
unquote
I
better.
mean, I think this is the compare and despair thing, isn't it? I suppose that,
Yeah,
when we start paying attention to the competition, I think it can go in really different ways, because I think sometimes you can pay attention to the competition and it be inspiring, and
yeah,
sometimes it makes you feel bad about yourself. And I think it
100%.
fundamentally depends on how you feel, how you're
Oh
feeling
yeah,
about
definitely.
yourself and how you are and what's happening
Oh
in your
yeah,
life, how your mental health's doing, all sorts of stuff.
yeah,
But we start paying attention to our competitors for interesting reasons, usually, I think. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Nail on the head, completely.
Yeah. Do you ever feel like this, Maddie? Like, do you pay attention to the competition, or did you when you were doing hair? What do you think?
Um,
I
yeah,
don't, I'm not really a competitive person. Not
yeah,
really. Very occasionally, I find myself feeling a bit competitive about something if I really care about it. But I think it's because I'm an only child. I'm just not that competitive. Like, I
yeah,
just don't care. I
yeah,
didn't have to fight for everything. And, like I got a lot of attention and all of that sort
yeah.
of stuff. And, I wasn't playing games with people
Mhm.
constantly and wanting to, like, I think my experience as an only child is quite different as one in a big family.
Yeah,
And I think one of the results is I'm not fundamentally competitive.
yeah. Well,
And,
I'm you're really
Yeah.
not, and you laugh at like, me and Emma, we are super competitive, like just like in a
Yeah.
like jostly sort of matey way.
And me and Viv are
But
just not.
yeah, you guys just don't care at all. We
We're
we
just like,
like
whatever.
joke about it. I'm the youngest of three, so I'm horrifically competitive and did have to fight for many, many things. Um, so I am super competitive, but weirdly,
Mm,
I don't remember really ever feeling stressed out about other salons, about other stylists. For me, and maybe it's a mindset thing because I've kind of always been like this. One, I was like, this is out of my control. Maybe because I got into like therapy, CBT, self development stuff like quite like remarkably early on in what was my business career. So that really helped.
yeah.
And I just kind of, I love like alchemizing things. Like I like taking something that could be shit and being like, how can I make this really good? Like that's
Yeah.
something I practice. I'm like, okay, this is happening. This is going to make me up my game. Like this was almost in a woo woo way. Like I've been sitting on my arse, resting on my laurels. Like I keep saying I'm going to
Yeah.
do this particular thing and I don't. Universe has sent me this person to be like, Maddie, you better get up and do
A
this thing that
kick
you
up the
said.
bum.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
it's
like
like
a
how
universal
they
kick up the bum.
inspire you. Like
Yeah,
sometimes you
totally.
look at people who do something similar to you and you think, oh, that's brilliant. And then
Oh
sometimes it
yeah.
sparks an idea in you and not copying them, but how you could improve
Yeah, now the
something that you're
total
already
like
doing.
possibility models as well. Like I've been
Yeah.
in courses with people or like net in the network or space of people where I'm like they're doing much better than me and I don't ever go, oh my god, that makes me feel bad about what I haven't done. I'm like, oh my
Mm,
god, they've done this, that means I can have that same, not like
yeah.
as in I'm going to copy what they're doing, but yeah, like whatever the level they've got to, it feels achievable now. So I find it
Yeah.
very like expansive and like from a growth sort
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah. If you can see it, you can be it.
Yeah,
That's what
totally
I always
this.
think. You can see it, you can
Yeah.
be it. And so I think it's really interesting, this, isn't it? Because, how much should we worry about our competitors? And it's interesting because it is that thing, is it? Are they inspiring you or are they making you feel bad about yourself? But they're not making you feel bad about yourself. It's
Yeah.
triggering something in you that's
Hmm.
highlighting, say, a weakness or
Yeah.
something it's like it touched that sore spot when they
Hmm.
got that lovely new wallpaper and maybe you've been sat in your salon for a bit thinking I should have a refurb or maybe
Yeah.
you've been thinking I should be leaving and then your best friend leaves the salon and does something and you think, oh, and so it's pressing buttons, isn't it? I think when you're triggered, let's say, by the competition, it's pushing a sore button somewhere, isn't it? I feel like
Yeah.
two metaphors got mixed up there, didn't they?
Yeah.
Touching a sore button. But I always sort of feel like this, and I think this is why I'm not that competitive generally, is that I just think there's two sorts of problems. One you can do something about and one you can't. And
Yeah.
I always
Simple as
think I
that.
can't do anything about the competition
Yeah.
and I'm more interested in staying in my own lane, focusing what I'm doing. And I think when I start getting distracted by what other people are doing, it swerves you out of your lane. That's
Yes.
energy you could have been putting on yourself and what you're doing. And so
Yeah.
I try not to get obsessed with what other people are doing.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like down that path madness lies. And so I really try and
100%.
stay away from that.
Yeah. It's another
Yeah.
thing to be, I think, is like anything challenging like this. We just have to be really reflective and introspective and be like, it's like jealousy. Like, I think, we can get jealous of competitors, especially if they're like, we say if they're doing quote unquote better. I think it's not about them, it's about us. So if I ever feel like, oh, I'm feeling jealous of this person, I'm always like, okay, what is it that I don't have that they have? Like, what is that
Yeah.
gap? Or is it something that I'm a bit like you say, that sore spot? Is it
Touchy
something that I
about.
feel like inadequate in? So if someone's
Yeah.
really, and I see this so much with women when they go, this woman loves herself. That blows my mind that that's an insult to say that. I'm like, are we not meant
Her
to?
self-esteem is so high.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like that. I find is
It's
such an
shocking.
interesting, like
Yeah.
common like trigger for people is, oh, she thinks she's
Mm,
mint, she loves herself. When we see a
yeah.
confident, really self-assured woman, and if I feel that, because I do feel that, I'll go, okay, this is a me thing. Like, what is it in? Is it
Yes.
because she's being really confident or assertive, or
Yes.
you know, very brave or courageous,
Yeah.
or like, what is that and how can I get a little bit of this? Or
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, how can I get in this person's world and see if this rubs off on me? Not like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's all like a mindset
Yeah.
thing, isn't it?
It is. I think sometimes it's like when we start thinking about the competitors, it's like they held up a mirror to us and
Yeah.
highlighted weaknesses.
Oh,
And
100%.
and that's
Yeah.
why it makes us feel uncomfortable. And so I think
Yeah.
like I feel like this, if you're listening to this and you know that you're getting a little bit preoccupied with someone who does the same as you, start having a little think about what is how are they making you feel inadequate, or how what are they
Mm.
highlighting, what's your sore spot, and then really you have to think about, is this something I can do something about or not.
Yeah.
And I think there's the other thing, Maddie, as well, isn't there, of sometimes this person that you might be paying attention to, their life's completely different, their
Yeah.
support network's different, their situation's different, they've got kids, they've not got kids, they've got a part, like there's so many
Totally.
factors,
Yeah. It's really,
all of
it's like
that.
really nuanced, isn't it? When people, they like a lot of the time as well, this is social media that we're looking at. So we're
Oh God, yeah,
comparing,
where else are you doing it?
yeah, like if you're comparing or competing on your day one versus their day 10,001,
That's so
you
true.
know, people don't share the full story. I think there are some times that we do need to pay a little bit of attention to them, just from like a business and like strategic point of view. Like, it is important to do like, you might do a SWOT analysis, like strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. And a genuine threat is like, we can look at competition as a threat, but more so from this thing of, well, what can I do to protect my business and my client base? So if a person did open next door and they did slash prices, okay, what I'm going to do is learn how to do marketing and really articulate the value in what I do, and deliver like a phenomenal customer service, or client delivery that
Mm,
that person might not be able to do. Build a community around my business. Like,
mm,
that's where I'd be looking at it from, not this emotional, like, oh, I'm just handing over all of my power to this person that doesn't even know I'm doing this.
yes,
I'm just
that's
going to
so
go,
interesting. I
okay,
love that.
there might be competitors, like, I take my stuff really seriously when it comes to like legally protecting my business. So
Hmm.
if a competitor breaches IP, for example, like, I take action against this. Like, I do what I
She's
need to do.
litigious.
I
She's
am
litigious,
litigious, and
folks.
I encourage people to be litigious. But yeah, there's like a thing of, okay, when is this a competition, and when does this go into something a bit more sort of sinister? And
Yeah,
you know,
that's
if
another
someone's
way
like
of
actually
thinking.
ripping you off or whatever.
Yeah,
So
you've got to pay
yeah, I think there are
attention.
some times to pay a bit of attention to, but ultimately we always have to come back to what is in my control. Is this actually worth
My
like paying any
energy.
attention to, or is this just a bit of a trigger in me of like, this person's maybe
Yeah,
highlight, like you say, holding up a mirror? It's a really
I
interesting
think
topic,
this a
though, I think.
lot. I think I'm controlled by my energy massively, Maddie.
Yeah.
It's in short supply because of the ADHD, and so I won't give it away very easily. And I think that's one of the reasons I choose not to spend loads of time paying
Yeah.
attention to what other people who do similar to me. So I just think I just haven't got the capacity for that.
Yeah.
If I
It
waste
is.
my
It's,
energy on that, I have to take it away from something more important. And so I've
yeah.
gotten quite good at going, don't go down that mad path. Don't
Yeah.
go
It's
down that
like,
mad path.
pick your battles, isn't it? Like, there are some things that, like, I
Yeah.
think back to like a younger me, where I was so preoccupied with like, oh, this person's doing this, or this doesn't feel fair, or this person's like, not in a serious way copying, but like mimicking or whatever. And I just think, my God, how much time and effort did I waste
Yeah.
obsessively looking through their posts and having
Mm,
notifications on? And honestly, like, if
yeah.
someone's causing you that much grief, like, mute them, block them. And especially if you're
Yeah.
neurodiverse, like, my object permanence is amazing in that if I just cannot see a person, I do not pay
They're
them any
gone.
attention. Like, they've just gone.
Yeah, it's so
Um,
true. I
yeah,
need
so
them not to be popping up and stuff like that. And so,
yeah,
yeah, there really is something to be said about pay attention to who you're following. And
yeah,
if you're feeling
definitely.
low and a bit fragile and stuff's going on, muting people is really smart, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And like, I've said to people before, don't send me stuff about a particular person, because I
Yeah.
know that if I'm sent something, I'll then go down like this whole rabbit
It
hole
kicks off the
because
thought process,
yeah,
doesn't it? It starts it again. It fans the flames of madness, is what
yeah,
I would say. Yeah.
definitely.
It's interesting, isn't it? I think social media for sure has made it possible for us to compare ourselves to people all over the world now as
Yeah, like
hairdressers, where,
strangers. Yeah.
yeah, I'm thinking about when I was younger, in my 20s, before social media was a thing, because I'm that old. The only people I could compare myself to was other hairdressers in the salon and maybe the salon down the road.
Yeah,
That's
that's it.
it.
Yeah,
Whereas now, the world's your oyster, isn't it? If you want to
yeah,
go down that path. For
yeah,
better or worse, though, isn't it? Because I feel like because of paying attention to our competitors, I think hairdressing has really raised its game in the last 20
yeah.
years because
That's
of
one of
social
the
media.
that's one of the decisions you can make, isn't it? Is do I recognize that there is competition and that I can't rest on my laurels and I'm not guaranteed anything in terms of like
Mm,
client base or market share? Like, so yeah, I do have to do something or keep ahead,
mm,
keep on top of things or keep ahead of the game and keep innovating. And I love that. I think competition breeds innovation, but you have to have that in you and decide that's what you're going to do, not just roll over and play dead and go,
yeah,
oh, well, my world's over because this other person's opened up in my town. But the choice is
yeah.
ours, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's a really good reflection on how you're feeling about yourself. And if this is
Yeah.
becoming a problem, I think it's time for some conversations with someone probably like me.
Yeah. Well, as always, how do people work with you, Haley? I feel like we need to just end every podcast with go and talk to
Oh
Haley. She's
yeah,
so
well
good.
I do have a shameless plug, same as
Go
last
for
week. Shameless plug.
it.
Burnout and Boundaries is starting very very soon, and so if you're listening to this episode as it's released, Burnout and Boundaries, my course, all about avoiding burnout, looking after your energy, all this kind of stuff, and getting the freedom in your business you want, putting the boundaries in that you need so that you can avoid burnout and resentment and looking on Indeed at jobs in Tesco. Yeah, Burnout and Boundaries is open right now. So
Fab.
if that sounds like something you want, go to the show notes. There'll be a link you can click.
Yeah. It
Wicked,
is amazing. Burnout
great.
Boundaries is such a good program.
So should we hyper
Amazing.
focus?
Yeah, let's do a hyper focus. Um,
Do you want to go?
yeah, I'll go. Mine, because I'm still very much, if you haven't guessed by now, even though we literally we go to America next week, like in a matter of days.
We do.
We do, which I'm very thrilled about.
Vegas.
And I hope these things are there. I have a feeling they might not be. But they were
Go
in
on.
LA. I am obsessed. I can't stop thinking about them. I literally keep looking at videos and think I'm berserk. Did you see any of my stories about the robots that were
No.
in? Oh my god, they are the cutest things, right? So I only saw them in West Hollywood and I think somewhere else. What they've done is they've got these tiny little robot carts and they've got a little flag like on the sort of little where the bum would
Oh, I
be,
did see this.
and they're branded because obviously you're going to brand something. And at the time the Garfield movie was coming out, so they're all like orange Garfield branding, and they have headlamps that they make look like eyes. It's very like Wall-E. So it's like this
Yeah.
really humanized looking robot, and they do deliveries. I wish I could have
What are they
had a million
delivering?
deliveries. I think food. I think like Uber Eats, and there's like
Shut up.
I was like, I have to know what it is because I want to get a delivery, and I couldn't work it out. I mean, if they were in England, they'd be in the river, they'd be set on fire. Like
Yeah, they'd be
we can't have these
nicked.
things. Yeah. But over there, and I don't even know how they work. I don't know if they're automated, but they wait at the crossings, they wait till the red light if a person's there. So and the first time I saw
No.
one, I was gobsmacked. And then I also loved watching other people see them for the first time, like seeing them as surprised. And I'm just obsessed. And I was like, do you know what? If the robot revolution's coming, I'm excited if it's made up of these tiny little orange
I'm
smiley
excited if
face
it's
looking
delivering me
robots.
burgers.
Can you
So
imagine?
let's do this then. We need to find some robots of some description in Vegas.
Some sort of robots. We'll go on robot hunt.
I'd quite like a restaurant where robots deliver you food.
Yeah, or when they do a pint. I've seen that, like robot bar. Yeah, let's find that.
Whatever, really. Just some sort of robot situation. I think we should put that on the list, Maddie. find
Okay.
robots in
Say
Vegas.
no
There's a
more.
restaurant in Manchester that has robots that deliver the food. So I feel like Vegas must have one and it'll be
Vegas.
better.
This is Vegas coded, isn't it? Like we need to. So we'll
There's
find our
got to
little
be
salt.
something crackers like
Find our
this.
robots. But they're just
That
honestly,
sounds
they're so
really
cute.
good.
And Aiden kept getting videos where like I was kind of walking up to the robots, and then they sort of stop still, and then they kind of work out what to do. But some of the paths are really kind of wonky there because there's like tree roots and stuff. And we watched one get up to this like lump in the path, and it didn't know what to do. And honestly, I was like, wait a minute, I need to see what it
Oh.
does. And it like reversed and like hoofed it over this, like it was like a skateboarder just like popped over this
Wow.
thing. I was like following them. Honestly, I'm obsessed. You need to
It's
see
like a
what they
really
look like.
improved version of the Hoover that goes around your house on its
Yes.
own, isn't it?
Well, actually, in the Airbnb we were at, there was one of those like a Roomba type thing, and
Yeah, Rumba, there you are.
my dad came out to LA for like a bit of our trip, which is very cool. Big Roy had never been on a long haul flight. He'd never been to the US, so we said, "Do you want to come?"
Oh, and he's a
and stay
massive
with
fan of
us?"
the podcast as well, isn't he, Big Roy?
Big fan. Big fan. He subscribes on YouTube. I might say something about him actually to test if he actually listens. That'd be funny.
See if he's
Dad,
listening.
Dad, if you're listening to this, send us a message with a robot emoji. Okay, that's your test.
And let us know when your podcast is coming out.
Yeah, when you can be asked to do a bloody podcast, you completely sod. So there was this robot Hoover thing, and my dad was just obsessed with it. Like he was literally just following it around, being like, "What's it gonna do? Will it do the broke? Will it? Oh, it's hit the table." So we were
It's like a day out.
the whole fam was very thrilled about these robots, and it definitely made it more palatable than if the robot apocalypse is upon us. I feel like
They're
I'm friends with
bringing
them now.
treats. I'm in.
Yeah, they're bringing you chips and stuff. It's fine. They're okay.
This is
So
really
that's mine.
interesting. Yes.
What's yours?
Well, mine is I am absolutely up to my neck in it with Love Island.
Right.
Maddie, I live for Love Island. I love it so much. I feel a bit nervous about the fact that how am I going to keep up with it when we're in Vegas?
I know.
What am I going to do?
Some time in, yeah.
It's not the final, but it's really getting up there. But look, I love Love Island. I don't watch like maths. You like maths, don't you?
Love maths.
I don't watch maths and Traitors. I don't do any of them, although Traitors does look good. But I just save myself for Love Island every year. I love it so much. It's like a big psychological experiment of madness. And I just really enjoy it. I would like to be... It's brilliant. Honestly, I love it so much. I like to see what the kids are up to. What are they doing? Yeah, it's all very strange. I love it so much. And I have a few of my clients and people in the hair world that we talk about this in the DMs. Like every day we're like, did you see what's happening? I can't believe it. I just love it. But one of my fantasies when I first became a therapist was I'd like to be... Do you remember in early Big Brother, they used to have a woman on it called Linda something, and she was like a psychotherapist or something, or a psychologist. And she used to comment on what was going on.
Yeah.
This is my dream job. I would like to be that person for Love Island.
I love that. And I love when when they bring in like a body language expert in Married at First Sight, they have 3 experts.
Is that what they do?
So they have like a kind of sex expert, 2 relationships experts. I obviously do armchair expert because I'm very unqualified to give my opinion on, these people's relationships. And I'll pause it and I'll be like, okay, this is Aiden, this is my hot take. This is what's going on here. The same as on Traitors. So yeah, like actual dream job, and you're much more qualified to do that.
Dream job.
So
I just
good.
feel like I would love it so much. But she was called something like Linda, and it began with P in the really early days of Big Brother, but it stopped after a few years. But when she was psychoanalyzing everyone and their behaviour, I just love it. So that's what I do. I feel like, along with Ian Sterling doing his excellent commentary on Love Island, because he just comments over it constantly, taking the mickey out of everyone. It's brilliant. You could just have little clips of me saying, oh, you see what's happening there? Very manipulative. Oh, I just love it.
You could wheel out the drama triangle, Maslow's hierarchy. Oh, you could have all sorts.
Living my best life. And so, it's so funny how I fantasize about these things. Like, I want a radio show like Frasier. Like, I'd really like that.
Oh, you agony
And
and you need to be
yeah, all
a
these
daytime
things.
TV.
Oh God, get me on the one show.
We
I'd
love
like a little
daytime
slot on the,
TV
yeah, like this
because
morning every Friday. That'd be good.
that's your dream, isn't it? We need to make this happen. Can
Just a
someone
little slot.
please make this happen? Who's listening? Someone has to know someone.
I know, get me there in the tough love zone. Oh,
Oh my god,
brilliant.
the
It'd be
dream.
so good. So anyway, Love Island is my hyper focus and
Okay,
the fear
you
of
can
what's going
when
to
I see you
happen.
this week, you can fill us in on all the goss.
And then I might make you watch it every day in Vegas.
Oh my god,
We'll be
yeah,
sat
please
in
do. Just tell us the
Vegas
crack.
getting robots delivering us food with all our stuff from
From
Trader
Trader Joe's.
Joe's, sat in the hotel room watching Love Island.
Thrilling. Honestly, that's my
Sounds like a
dream,
top
Haley.
holiday.
Yeah. Well, on that
Brilliant.
note,
Well,
I'll see you in bloody
see you in
Vegas.
Vegas.
Amazing. All right, I'll see you in a bit.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments.
Please support those who support us and check out Timely, who we recommend is our favourite booking system for you. New customers can get 50% off their first 3 months with the code COFFEE50.